Hi, my name is Maureen Lurch, and I'm the Library Director at the University of Akron Wayne College Library. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you have an instructor who's required you to complete our library's information literacy modules, which are available on Brightspace. All of our students at the University of Akron Wayne College and UA Medina are automatically enrolled in this classroom to give you the opportunity to learn how to do academic library research. But there are times when you have an instructor who requires you to complete the content and quizzes and then turn in your scores for credit in that course. So today I'm going to demonstrate that and show you how you can do that so you can be successful in those classes. But basically, our information literacy modules are designed to teach new college students how to build on what they already know, what they've already learned through high school or other colleges, on how to do research. And then we hone those skills and focus them on academic library sources that are appropriate for the types of speeches, research papers, projects, presentations that you're going to be required to do here at Wayne College and the University of Akron, Medina. So what we want to do is teach you how to use those resources so that when it's time for you to do that research, you can quickly, efficiently, effectively find the really good resources so that you can do really well on all those projects. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look. When you're getting started with the information literacy modules, we do recommend that you start at the Wayne College Library's website. And you can get there by entering this address into your search bar or your URL bar, wayne.uakron.edu/library. And then if you already have the Wayne College website bookmarked, then simply click on library and it will take you to our website. Now on this website you'll have just general announcements, resources, some of the databases we're going to teach you how to search are listed here, but if you scroll down there's a section called Information Literacy, and under that you'll see a link to the instructions, which I'm about to go into, and then also a link to the current library's classroom where you'll complete the modules. Now if you click on that classroom and you can't get in and get some kind of error message, then you're going to want to reach out to me to have you yourself enrolled in the classroom. We may have missed you when we were putting all the students in. So this is where you want to look to get started. But first I want to look at the guide we created with all of the instructions, and this website probably will answer a lot of your questions, but if not, of course, always reach out. So this information is compiled on one of our LibGuides, which is an online pathfinder that we create for a variety of topics, but this one is all about the information literacy modules. And down on the left side are all of the instructions, which I'm going to go over here in a moment, but over here on the right, it has the current classroom listed with a link that will take you right into the classroom. So you could always, if you're already in Brightspace, you can locate the library's classroom under your ongoing classes, but here's a shortcut which will dump you right into the classroom so you can get started working right away. But down here on the left side, it has background information on what to do to get started. And if you need help, it has my information here. So if you can't get into the classroom for some reason, go ahead and reach out to me. But if you just have general questions, you can reach out to the library staff at this email address or this phone number. And also chat and texting is available during our hours of operation. So there's a lot of information on how to get help. And then if you scroll down, it starts describing the modules, like what's included. So there are 13 information literacy modules that build on each other, and each one includes content, which includes text, images, videos, demonstrations, and then also a quiz associated with each module. So your goal for each module that you're required to take, most of the time you're going to have to take all 13 of them, but pay attention to your instructor and what they want you to do. Sometimes you only have to take some of them. But once you know what you have to do, go in and complete the content and quiz for each of the modules that you need to do. Okay, so starting with step one, do you even need to complete the modules? And then you can ask your instructor if you need to. If not, then you can just ignore the classroom or take them whenever you like. Do you have access? Follow that link and find out if you have access. If not, reach out to me. Read all the introductory materials on this guide. Everything you need is here, and it's really important you understand kind of the rules behind how it's set up so that you're not wasting your time. And then once you've watched this video or read over these materials, you'll be ready to take the pre-test, which is basically a true or false question that you answer to say that yes, you understand the rules and I'm ready to get started. And then when you answer that question, the content will be released to you. But you do have to take that pre-test and acknowledge that you understand how this works before you go into the modules. The next step is just to start working on the modules, and I'll demonstrate how you do that when I go into the classroom. So you'll complete each module that you have to take and then complete each quiz that's associated with that module. And your goal will be to get 100% on each of the quizzes. And the good news is that the quizzes are not timed, they're open book, open note, and you have multiple attempts to get 100% on the quizzes, okay? And I'll show you how to do that when I actually get into the quiz. Now it's important to know that these are open book, open note, so you can like have two screens open and look up information while you're answering the questions. The only thing that we ask you to do is not ask other students to help you with this. If you have any questions, ask the library staff. What we find is that a lot of students ask other students for help and then they give you the wrong answer anyway, and so that just causes confusion. So if you need help, just reach out to us. When you take a quiz and you're done, review your quiz results, see what you got right, what you got wrong, and then you would have another attempt to take each quiz. What we would like you to do is, if you're not successful in getting the score that you want for a quiz and you've already taken it 2 times, stop and reach out to the library staff and we will help you so that you're not taking the same quiz over and over again, because nobody wants you to waste your time like that. Sometimes it just means that we just need to re-explain something so that you can be successful with a question that may be giving you trouble. And then you're going to repeat that process for all the modules that you have to complete. When you're all done taking the quizzes that you need to take for an individual instructor, then you're going to go in and look at your grades and take a screenshot of that and print that out for your instructor so that they can give you credit for completing them. Now further down, there's some frequently asked questions, and you're welcome to take a look at this, but chances are I'm going to probably cover all of that when I start my demonstration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into the current classroom by following the link. And it's going to take me right into Brightspace, and we will go ahead and start demonstrating the actual site. So the library's Brightspace classroom is slightly different than some of your other instructors' classrooms. We have modified the links across the top here. So your navigation bar may call things something different than you've seen in other classes, but everything you need is across the top here. But before we go into that, there is some background information here on the main page of our classroom, including a link to our library's homepage in case you need to go back there to perform a search for one of your quizzes. And then it's got some background information here with a link to the pretest. Like I said, that pretest is just basically a multiple choice, or it's a true or false question where you just acknowledge that you understand how to take these before you get started. So that's kind of the contract between you and us, making sure you understand what you're doing before you get started. So once you take your pretest, you'll have all the content available to you. So don't worry if you go in and there's nothing under the information literacy modules. You just complete that pretest first and then you'll be good to go. And then over here on the side is our chat box. As long as the library is available, you can chat with us live and ask us questions. That's probably the most popular way that students get a hold of us. And then there's also some announcements and a link to our WebEx classroom. So there might be times where we have to explain something that's a little bit more in depth than just a chat. We might go into WebEx to help you. So back to the navigation across the top of the page. Let's just look at these links. You have the course home, which will always take you here. The information literacy modules, that's where the content lives, and that's where you're going to be spending most of your time. You can look at a summary of your quizzes that are available to you and the quizzes that you've completed. And then there's your grades summary page, which is important because that's what you're going to print out to show your instructor that you completed this content. And then we also have links to our LibGuides, our library catalog, and our research databases. So those are just some bonus links that you may need when you're completing the modules to go out and take a look and do some searches. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's assume we took our pre-test, we acknowledged we understand how this works, and then we're going to go into our information literacy modules. In this classroom, I'm in this classroom as a fake student, and my name is Wayne College Library, so that's me up in the corner. And now I'm ready to get started. Now you'll see that there's a lot of check marks next to these things because I've already demonstrated this a few times and already clicked on everything. But for you, there's probably not any check marks here yet. So what you're going to want to do is on the left navigation, your table of contents, you're going to click on Information Literacy Modules, and then they list them 1 through 13 down the side, and that's how you're going to navigate. So this is pretty consistent with a lot of your other classes that you might have in Brightspace. So start with Module 1, and then whatever you click on over here on the left, it will populate in the bigger frame on the right. And so this is the beginning of Module 1, and it has some overview information, including what kinds of outcomes we have associated. What are you going to learn in this? And then down below is a link to all of the content that you need to complete as part of this module. Start at the beginning, and the first thing that you're offered is information about the worksheet. And we have a worksheet that you can print out and take notes on. And then I'm just going to navigate using these two little arrows, front and back, and I'm going to move forward through the content. And here's the worksheet as a Word document, and then we also give it to you as a PDF, whichever works for you. Some people like to print them, some people just look at them, but you do have a worksheet to help you get through the content. I'm going to scroll forward, and then here's our first informational content here. What is a database? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read through this information and take notes as I go, and then go to the next segment. So you're going to work through all of these segments, taking notes, which will help you with the quiz. Now it's important to note you have to interact with every segment in the module or you will not receive the quiz. So here's an item here. It's a self-check, and it's asking you a question. So you actually have to complete this self-check to be able to get the quiz. Okay, and then I'm going to move forward to the next segment. I'm going to read through this, take notes. And anytime you see something that is optional, like that one had an optional video, you don't have to complete it, but sometimes you need that extra instruction, so you might want to. So I'm just going through. You're going to take longer because you're going to read this. I'm just kind of scrolling through to demonstrate what you're going to do. And then here's a demonstration that's optional. You don't have to complete it unless you want to. And then I'm going to keep going forward. This one's a shorter one, okay? So some of the modules take longer than others. You could probably get through this one in like 10 minutes. So module 1 is very short. Some of them you're going to spend as much as the time as an hour completing, but this one was a pretty quick and easy one just to get you started. So once you're here, you're going to go ahead and continue on to your quiz when you're ready, and it will open up a quiz for you, and you just start answering your questions. Okay, you're going to take more time than I'm doing, but let's go ahead and just take some of these questions and submit my quiz. And if you're happy with your answers, go ahead and submit. Okay, and it tells me which ones I've gotten wrong because obviously I wasn't reading those very carefully. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, and you'll see here that I attempted this quiz 3 times. But I'm going to go back to our information literacy modules then. And if I'm ready, I'm going to move on to then Module 2 and do the same thing. Okay, so we're assuming that I got the score I wanted, and now I'm moving on to the next module. Okay, so that's how you complete the modules, to make sure you interact with each segment under each module, and then you'll receive your quizzes. Okay, now you can always go back under quizzes up on your navigation bar. You can review which quizzes you've taken, how many attempts, and only the quizzes that you're eligible to see, the ones that you've completed the content, will be listed here. So this fake student has all of them here, but you might just have 1 or 2 depending how far you've worked through the modules so far. So I've taken my pre-test. Here's the quiz for Module 1, Module 2, and then you can see that I've had 1 out of unlimited attempts on the pre-test, 3 out of Module 1. So here's where you're going to go and take a look at your different attempts. It's not very intuitive, but rather than clicking on the name of the quiz, which will open up a new quiz attempt. I don't want to do that yet. I want to review the quizzes I've already taken. I'm going to go to the drop-down menu next to the name of the quiz and look at my submissions. And here are my 3 attempts. Now I see attempt 2, I got 5 out of 5. So I actually scored 100% on this one. But let's say I just want to see what I got wrong on attempt 1. So go into that attempt and it will show you the question you got wrong. It's a true or false question, so I know how to fix that one. But I can view the feedback and it will tell you which segment to review to get that question correct the next time I try it. Now, be aware that there are question variations. So the next time I take this question, the question might be subtly different. So make sure you read them all very carefully and don't assume it's the same question each time. They are the same concept, but make sure you read them carefully. So then what I can do is, now that I'm ready to take another attempt, I could go back into the quizzes and go back into Module 1 and open up another attempt and do better on that one. Now, if you've taken the quizzes multiple times and you're not being successful, that's when you reach out to the library staff. Sometimes we will have you attempt to take a quiz, save all your answers, and not submit it. And then the library staff will go in and look at that quiz and review it with you one-on-one, and we could say, you know, you really need to rethink your answer on question 4 because did you consider this, this, and this? And then we kind of reteach it right then and there. So don't be shy if we just don't want you wasting time and just, you know, trying different answers. Reach out to the library staff so you're not wasting your time and you can be successful on your quizzes. So you're going to walk through all of those, and when you're all done, let's say you've finished all of your quizzes and you're happy with your scores, go to grades. And this is the summary page that will only show you your best attempt. So you could have taken 42 tries, which I don't recommend obviously, of Module 2, but it only shows your best score. So nobody else needs to know how many times you took it. But all your best scores will be here. And then you're going to want to kind of minimize this on your screen. So I'm going to hit Control and the negative sign to make this smaller on my screen and do a screenshot. Print them all out to make sure your name is up in the corner and all your scores are visible, and then do a screenshot either with your phone or paste it into Word and print that out. So that's what you're going to give your instructors once you're all set. Now, looking back at the information literacy modules themselves, I was talking about how much time it takes to complete them. A lot of students are asking me, well, why is Module 1 only 10 minutes and Module 3 is an hour? Well, it's because that we base these modules on the outcomes we're trying to teach in that particular content. So Module 1, there's just a couple things that were fairly easy to explain. Same with Module 2. 1 and 2 you can get done fairly quickly. Module 3 is a little bit more complicated. We're really teaching you a lot in one module. So some of these modules are going to take a little bit longer for you to complete. Now, to complete them all, so all 13 modules, when we used to teach these live here in the library, it would take, I think, 4 hours for most of them, and then Module 13 was an extra 2 hours. So that's how it would be if we taught them live. And as you probably already know, when you take something online, it's going to take you even longer because you have distractions. You sometimes have to go back and reread things to get it. So you're going to be planning on at least 6 hours of work here to complete all 13 modules. I do not recommend that you take it all at once. Okay, so maybe this week start with modules 1 and 2. Next week do 3 and 4. And work your way through and make progress, but don't try to do it all at once. You won't enjoy it. It will be painful and frustrating. So kind of plan your time ahead and work through them that way. And then know all along that we are here to help, especially if you're not understanding something or if something doesn't seem right. And sometimes it's just how we word things. And we get a lot of feedback from our students, and we go back and sometimes change it based on what kinds of questions you have for us. So that's in a nutshell how you're going to complete these information literacy modules. Once you get into it and start doing it, then just know that on the course homepage and also on our website, there's that chat box. So just ask us your questions as you go, save your answers, and we are so happy to help. So good luck, reach out, and just ask when you have questions.